43 cars, 300 miles, one of the most unpredictable races in motorsports. Daytona doesn't care who's the favorite, it only rewards the driver standing when the smoke clears. Welcome to opening night. It's the Bubba Myers Custom Designs at Daytona 300. I'm James Watson, joined by my broadcast partners, Drue Bernardi and Dave Huckleberry. And how about it, Drew? Daytona, what's left to be said?
The world's center of racing, 2.5 miles, high banked, high speed, high action. You want to talk about a wild card? You want to talk about starting the season potentially with chaos? That is this track right here.
Absolutely. This is going to be one of the most chaotic races we're going to see. What a way to start off the season. As we're just about done with qualifying here, and man, there's going to be so many cars going home. A lot of people made it out to Daytona tonight, but we're going to get quite a few that are unfortunately going to be sent home here, Drew. How much pressure does that put on everyone, knowing how big the entry list is?
Oh, it puts a lot of pressure on you. You know, if you're coming in here, you know you've got to go or you're going to go home. And, you don't want to start off the season with a DNQ, and you definitely don't want to miss out on Daytona, which, with all the chaos that it can have, can really produce anybody as a winner. So, you've got a lot of cars out there. You just got to hope your setup is tuned right, and you got to make sure that you are absolutely on your marks every single inch of this track.
Absolutely. Your pole sitter, the 40 of Tyler Fody, next to the 60 of Austin and Abnett. The 56 of Tate Lytle, next to the reigning series champion Trey Eitzen on row 2. Tommy Ryan in the 66 and the 08 of Randy Yoakum on row 3. The 23 of Scott Eckridge and the 34 JP Phillips on row 4. Rounding out the top 10 is the 5 of Jonathan Cutlip and the 80 of Bryce Fody. And take away the next 10, Drew.
All right, we've got Gerald Campbell and Caleb Pecumer starting P11 and 12, respectively. Then on the next row, we're going to have Ty McIntosh and Jeff Ryan. Moving on to row 8, we're going to have Ray Bracey and Zach Evans. And now as we move on to row number 9, we're going to have the 77 of Paul Mikulak. I have no idea how to pronounce his name. Sorry about that. And Corey Abbott. Jake Canner and Chad Turnquist are going to go from the 10th starting row, and followed by Kyle Hanshaw and David Westergreen. Starting in row number 12, Nigel Stock and Harrison Talon. And Noah Brown and Casey Hatch back on row 13. Row 14, where Chad Frankenfield and Matthew Weeks are going to go off from there. And starting P29 and P30, it's Josh Chin and Dustin Dewar. James?
And on row 16, we have the 55 of Justin Fuller and the 28 of Jacob Adams. And then two more shift cars, the 29 of Ryan Borges and the 22 of Josh Adams, last night's winner. Jeff Green in the 2 and William White in the 43. Curtis Cochran in the 04 and Michael Hossack in the 24 on row 19. Rounding out the top 40, it's Cale Pocock in the 7 and Frank Fody in the 41. Jaden Racimus in the 1 and Gavin Hibbs in the 95. And then rounding out the field is Gavin Higgins in the 20, and trying to figure out who is going home. Unfortunately, one of the ones guaranteed to be going home is last season's color commentary man, Cameron Rich. Unfortunately, will not be in the race. Kendall Player, I believe, is out as well. All right. You heard Dave. So some big names there not making it. So that definitely makes this race a heck of a lot more interesting. Okay.
Yeah, not a great way to start off your season with a DNQ, but that's when you really have to go back to the drawing board. You have to get your car ready for the next week and hope that you can make it up.
Absolutely. And of course, we're doing 2 pace laps here for the season opener. Doing the traditional parade down pit road to check pit boxes.
As they get rolling out on this gigantic speedway, I want to point out, 2.5 miles of track, but it could not be more different throughout this entire track. They're going to climb the 31 degrees of banking when they go into turns 1 and 2, and then it's going to drop down to just 3 degrees down the back straightaway and on those short chutes. And then off of turn 4, when they go into the tri-oval, that is going to be 18 degrees of banking, and that is a turn, so you don't want to give somebody a bump right there.
Absolutely, and we've seen a lot of calamity going into the tri-oval here at Daytona. There's something about it that just makes these cars so unpredictable and hard to deal with.
It does, and I think it's that transition from, you come off of the big banking out of the corner, you flatten out, and then you go right back into that tri-oval. It's really easy to pick up a run on somebody, or it's really easy for somebody to throw a bad block going into there. And sometimes you'll just see the back of the car get light, or you'll clip the apron. It's so easy to do, especially in these cars.
Yeah, and turn 4 as well. Like, how many times have we seen in real life someone just get loose, exit turn 4, and spin down to the infield wall, Drew?
Oh, so many times, the car with that transition of banking, you're like we've said a couple of times, a 28-degree difference in banking is huge, and your car will get so light coming off that corner. I've raced it's a big problem in the next gens here on iRacing. I've been abstaining from Daytona a little bit because it's just such a you've got the car, and then it's out from under you before you even know what's going on.
Absolutely. And it's going to be interesting to see how these O'Reilly cars run. They are not always the easiest to drive here at Daytona. You're going to see these cars get a little wiggly. So that's going to make a already chaotic race even more chaotic.
It is, and you look at these O'Reilly cars, they've got the shorter spoilers on them. The spoilers aren't quite as, not quite as long, but not quite as tall either. And you look at the front of these O'Reilly cars, and most of them have at least a little bit of a curve to them. They're not quite as flat as some of the other series we see here, so that can make bump drafts really difficult, especially if you get mismatched.
Absolutely. But with that, all the talk is about to be over. A season is about to begin. Everyone is going to be given just one more deep breath before
This is where you reach up there and pull those belts tight.
Yes, sir. As the pace car makes a hard left-hand turn on the pit road, Tyler Fode will lead us to the green flag. Green means go, and we are underway at Daytona.
It'll take these cars about a lap or so to get up to full speed, but you can already see as the pushing and shoving starting as they climb the 31 degrees of banking into turn number 1.
Absolutely. You see Tyler Fode just barely inching out ahead over Austin and Abnett, but Abnett's going to have the run off the high side, getting the shove from Trey Eitzen, and is going to be out front in the lead of this race.
What a fantastic push and what a fantastic move. Gets the lead to start the race, but you notice staying up there, probably going to stay up there until both cars can clear, or may try to make the high line the dominant line. Yeah,
I'm surprised he hasn't dropped down in front of his teammate Tyler Fode there on the inside. He's electing to stay on the outside in front of the reigning champion here.
Yeah, and you can see right now it's a little stretched out, but they're getting there. You know, they're starting to feel out their cars. They want to see what it's going to do in traffic.
And it's also, I wonder what the visibility is looking like inside those cars, because there is quite the weird haze. It's a really odd fog. It's like I'm back home in the Bay Area looking at this.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of 2006 Daytona 500 when they had the fog roll over the track, and it was just kind of hazy and misty for the whole day.
Yeah, you see visibility pretty good outside the front windshields of these cars. So we got a couple of cars making it 3 wide. The unacceptable racing teammates of JP Phillips and Jeff Ryan.
Well, this track is plenty wide enough for 3 wide. It is wide enough for 4 wide in a pinch, but you go anything past that, and you're going to wad up a lot of cars.
I don't think I've seen 4 wide work out at all this speed weeks. It's just been automatic big one and cars going all over the place. It's almost a little bit of contact between Gerald Campbell and Caleb Bakuma right there.
Yeah, that's what we talk about with these cars being unstable. They move around a little bit. They're a little squirrely, especially right at the start.
Yeah, that was very nearly big one, number 1, before we're even on lap 4.
Yeah, that's the thing about these super speedway races. You know, when you've got cars that are all stacked up together like this, if one car goes, they're more than likely going to take probably 5 or 6 with them, if not 10 or 20.
Yeah, that's why the big one is always so prevalent. As we're 3 wide, almost 4 wide here.
You can definitely tell the differing strategy. Some guys want to get up to the front and stay there because you can't be in the wreck if it's behind you, but some guys you can see are probably laying back a little bit, letting the chaos sort out to start the race.
Yeah, so far we haven't seen a whole lot of cars really drop out of the track. It seems like it is full speed ahead for most everyone. See Jonathan Cutlip now in charge of that inside lane, trying to drag them up to the front as Austin and Abnett continues to lead, has led every lap so far. See Randy Oakham trying to jump to the outside, lead the 3rd lane as Abnett is still getting shoved along by Trey Eidson. As now Cutlip up to the middle.
And it's amazing how quickly the front of this pack and the complexion of this race can change as these cars move around. Oh, just about contact right there.
Yeah, we talked about it, turn 4, and you already saw a lot of cars not happy through there. These cars are struggling, and we're just barely started this race.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those races where guys are going to have... Oh, big contact into the wall.
Big silence for JP Phillips. What a save going into the corner.
Oh, that is one of the things that can quickly turn a small incident into a big wreck. When you get into the wall like that, it just kills your momentum, and it's on that car behind you to get out of the gas before they run you over.
And sometimes you just can't always do that. We've seen many a wreck from that time, but great drive from everyone, keeping it clean. As right now, Jonathan Cutlip is about to take the lead of this race with help from Fody, but Abnett trying to hold on to it, and he will not. Cutlip will get the lap led on that one.
Yeah, that little dust-up got the top line disorganized a little bit, and it allowed Cutlip to take advantage of it and drop down in front of Fody, who's given him a great shove coming out of turn number 2.
Yeah, that has killed the 3rd lane. We are just down to 2 by 2 essentially here. You see a few cars trying to make it work. Jeff Ryan and Dewar.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is you've got to get a little bit of help if you're going to get up there on that 3rd lane. Right now, shaking out to a lot of 2x2, a high-speed pace lap at Daytona, but we do have some 3 wide in that 2nd pack.
That we do. Things got real close in that kind of 3 wide pack. no one is stable at all around here. As you see someone blinking, I believe that was the 14 of Casey Hatch right there.
Yeah, he looks like he's having some connection problems for sure, but looks to be staying up towards the top and, trying to stay out of everybody's way while he deals with that. This track is like I said, it's plenty wide enough to get out of the way if you need to, but at these speeds, sometimes there's just not enough time.
There sure isn't, and Hatch has received a warning about his connection, so I believe he is being made to drop to the back until that settles out a little bit. Meanwhile, back up front, it is still Cutlip versus Nabnit up here.
I tell you what, Nabnit's got a great leading car. He was able to power back to the front, but here comes Cutlip right back past him. I tell you what, like like we've been mentioning, these cars moving around so much on the back straightaway. You wonder how many of them are just trying to get a little air on the nose, and how many of them are just a little bit unstable. As we've got one car down below the yellow in the back.
Yeah, not quite sure who that is, but nothing too dangerous here. See the third lane trying to get the energy built up, but it's still just Jeff Ryan and Dustin Dorr up there.
Yeah, one thing I like about what they did, though, is they kind of filtered back to 2x2, let themselves catch back up to that front pack, and then now they're going to try for the 3 wide. A lot of times in these races, you'll see people that'll try to force it a little too long, and you'll lose touch with that lead pack.
Yeah, and it's such a gradual thing, too. You need to gradually build that energy up, build that run. If you try to get it done all at once, it's likely not going to work anywhere how you need it to.
It's not, no, and you got to really get a few cars that are willing to go up there and push each other and not afraid of that outside wall. I think that's the hardest thing when you're running that third line is if you just twitch it a little too much or you don't turn just enough, it could go right into that wall, and a lot of guys will not go up there unless they absolutely have to.
Absolutely. You can't be scared. This racetrack smells fear.
I tell you, I've been watching Nabnit as he's leading this race. He is doing a fantastic job of managing the runs behind him, managing the side draft with Cutlip, and he is doing... I tell you, he's got a really strong car in the front.
Yeah, we have not seen that 60 car any other spot but up at the lead, or at least P2.
Yeah, that's really a good place to be if you're at a super speedway. We have seen Rex start from first and second, but you're a lot less likely to be involved in one from up there unless you're towards the end of the race.
Yeah, your percentage of avoiding it up at the front is higher, but it is never zero as far as being out of the radius of a wreck. We've definitely seen wrecks happen with the leaders before, and it's going to be something to keep an eye on here as we get closer to the end of stage 1.
It is, and one thing that I've noticed a lot, from watching racing, being involved in it and everything, is when you're dealing with multiple lines of cars stacked this close together, if you're the leader, you don't even have to be involved in the initial contact to have that go wrong. Somebody can get turned sideways next to you, and you never even saw it.
Yep, it is impossible to miss a wreck if it takes you out from behind. Another thing that's going to be important to keep in mind here, Drew, of course, is the temps. These Xfinity cars are very sensitive with the temperatures and getting that grill opening closed up while you're pushing.
It is, and when you're tucked up behind another car, it is very easy to overheat the car if you're not paying attention, especially if you're pushing, you're just trying to get your to the lead, or you're trying to get the car in front of you to the lead so that you can get past them. So you have to be managing that. You have to be peeking out to get air when you can, pushing when you can and let off and give some room, because if you're just attached to that back bumper the whole time, you're going to lose the engine from the overheating.
Yeah, we've seen the engines go from up towards the pack from pushes, and that's always caused a lot of big wrecks. As you see, Jonathan Cutlip will jump to the outside in front of Austin and Abnett, and now is Tyler Fody taking the lead of the inside, and he's going to take the lead of this race.
Yeah, I think that was a gutsy move to jump up in front of an Abnett and see if that car is as good pushing as it is leading. But now here comes that inside line getting a lot of momentum together.
Yeah, so far so good. Oh, I don't know, that seems real aggressive pushing from the 60 car, but it is getting the job done.
Reminds me of the old-fashioned tandem drive. He's going to look to the outside for a minute, thinks better of it, and tucks back inside.
We got cars loose in the middle of the pack. David West, I believe that is the 09 of Ty McIntosh and Caleb Pacumer. Caleb got the wall a little bit.
Yeah, what a save. That was almost another big wreck right there. And I tell you, these guys, for being this early into the race, they are being aggressive early.
Yeah, make it hay while the sun shines. As we are halfway through stage 1.
Yeah, and I think this is the time where a lot of guys are trying to get themselves into the spot to pick up points at the end of the stage, to pick up those all-important positions towards the end of this, because you want to move your way to the front, but you don't want to get too aggressive, because getting wiped out before the end of stage 1 is not a great way to start your season.
No, it's not. You try to go for 10 points, and then all of a sudden you're leaving the speedway with only 4.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is you have to balance the aggressiveness for those points with
Whoa!
Big slide out of the 23.
Yeah, if I didn't know any better, I swear he cut a right front tire down. That was a big move from the 23 of Eckridge.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he decided that he was just going to jump up there last minute or what, but what a slide. But he kept it off the wall and kept it going straight.
Yeah, I could only imagine what was going through the mind of Gerald Campbell there as he was watching that happen directly in front of him.
Yeah, that's those moments where you know, it's funny with how fast these cars go, and we talk about how fast things happen. Sometimes in those moments, it's almost like you have that time to sit there and think about what's happening, and that's that moment when you go, oh no, did something just break on their rig?
Yeah. The outside lane is getting some serious numbers. We're starting to see it turn into a little bit of a real-life Xfinity Series or O'Reilly Series race around here, where most everyone is just running up by the wall.
Yeah, and I think some of them, especially up here at the front, they want to log some laps, you know, get towards the, you know, get a little bit more in the bank as far as their laps go, and maybe not push so hard. And then the guys at the back, they're just having to filter in right now so they don't get left alone on the bottom.
You see Paul Mikolajczyk leading that inside lane, waiting to see if he will get any help from those up on the high side.
Yeah, he does have quite a few cars that are behind him, but they don't seem to be formed up very well as of yet. The cars are starting to get a little bit of momentum now as he comes up, and here comes one guy down to help him. That's going to be the number 3 of Ryan.
Yeah, and JP Phillips. Big move from Phillips to get in front of Mikolajczyk. But that is absolutely helping this inside lane. Here they come. Whoa, big side drive. Oh no, and there it is. Mikolajczyk and JP Phillips spinning onto pit road. And it looks like we are going to stay green.
Yeah, those two cars, everybody started to kind of jump to the inside, and they got just side by side and made contact, and both cars went spinning down to the inside. As we're going to take a look at the replay here, 77, great job keeping that thing off of the inside wall.
Yeah, it looked like JP tried to go up for the side draft, kind of got sucked into the car on the outside, and Mikolajczyk just had no time to check up and knocks both cars around. But they didn't hit a single thing. Great job by both of them to avoid race-ending damage.
It was, right now they're both, they're going to lose the draft, as well as I believe one of the cars went through the grass to avoid. They're going to lose the draft, but your car's still in one piece. You've got the stage end coming up. You're going to have a chance to put 4 fresh tires on it. Check out any, damage that you might have gotten from the car-to-car contact. Of all things to happen early in the race, that is not the worst.
Yeah, they're hoping that caution comes out soon, though. Of course, Elite, we do not throw a caution at the end of the stage, so you can't even rely on stage end if you're those two. You're hoping for that miraculous caution to come out, but the more they single file out here, the least likely that caution is to happen.
It is, but like we just saw, it can happen in a hurry. All it takes is a few cars to get a little squirrely or get a little racy, and you can have a caution just like that.
And while they're single file now, they might not be single file for long, as everyone's going to try to go for those stage points. Things can get real sketchy here within the next coming to 8 laps to go.
Yeah, and coming in through here, as we look at this tri-oval again, this is where the move is finished. But if you're going to try to make a move for this stage, what you need to do is you need to be planning it now, and you need to be making it by the time that you hit turn 3.
Absolutely, and you're going to have to hope that you get a little bit of help from behind.
Yeah, and we see the bottom line trying to get some more momentum together.
I think, yep, we have a wreck. Caution is out. See, Curtis Cochran, Michael Hossack around, and I believe Hossack just towed. Oh, that is a big one.
Wow, what a hit. Let's see what happened here. Oh, looks like a bump draft gone wrong.
Yeah, getting shoved by one of the Adams family here, and that puts Cochran sideways and then back up into the 24. Hossack slams Michael into the wall. Corey Abbott nowhere to go.
Yeah, I think Abbott's going to have maybe minimal damage, but the 04 definitely going to have a lot of damage. You saw when he came back up the track after getting turned sideways, it just caught the front end of that car again. Oh, nowhere to go.
Yeah. Ooh, that could be potentially race ending for the 26 of Wilkinson. So far, the only meatball is Michael Hossack, who has already left the session.
Yeah, he's going to take that one to the garage and be done. Brandon Wilkinson, again, just nowhere to go, and that's the worst when you think you're about to get through the wreck and it just turns down in front of you. You look at Curtis Cochran, just got turned. He did his best to hold on to it, but when you get hit once, twice, and that's all she wrote.
Absolutely.
But what a break for those cars involved in that first incident.
Yeah, the Mikolajczyk and Phillips were doing the caution dance, and their prayers were answered. So we're going to go ahead and take our first break of the night, and we will be back with you shortly. But first, we'll go ahead and talk about our one of our best sponsors here for the Grand National Series. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Bubba Myers Custom Designs. In the world of iRacing, your paint scheme is your identity, and nobody helps you build that identity better than Bubba Myers. Specializing in high-quality iRacing paint schemes, they offer everything from highly detailed individual liveries to cohesive T-paints that make a statement on the track. With advanced spec map work, your car will feature realistic textures and finishes that look phenomenal on the broadcast. Plus, with their custom paint reveals, your team's debut will be an absolute spectacle. When you want professional grade designs for the virtual track, look no further than Bubba Myers Custom Designs. Check them out on X and Discord. Bubba Myers Custom Designs, built for the podium.
Tickets are on sale now for the 5th Enjoy Illinois 300 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. September 11th through 13th brings a full weekend of action with the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and St. Louis's biggest music festival, Confluence. The stars shine on and off the track, and your ticket gets you everything: cars, concerts, camping, food, and fun. Don't miss it. Get your tickets now and save big at WWTRaceway.com.
Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand towards victory lane. So don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
If you've been waiting for the right time to upgrade, that time is now. Score up to $4,000 off on a 26 brand new Ford Explorer. And our Ford Explorers come with the Bolin Lifetime Powertrain Warranty. So get to Tom Bolin Ford in Hannibal. Heck of a deal, ain't it?
The Lucas Oil School of Racing. Simply stated, we are the professional ranks where the quality of the equipment often dictates the outcomes, and all of our cars are designed to perform and race as close as humanly possible. None of our competitors will have an advantage from engineering tactics. Rather, you will compete on a completely level field with a score of immensely talented up-and-coming drivers, all pushing each other to reach their new heights in their respective pursuit in becoming a professional race car driver. Every year, our top-performing graduates move on to the professional racing ladders of IndyCar, F1, and IMSA. Whether drivers compete in 1 or 2 seasons of our series, when they are ready to move on, they are ready to move. The training you receive in our school is an unmatched, unforgettable, first-class education combining the very best racing instruction and education.
All right, we are back and about ready to get back at it. Resetting.
And it's going to be a... Go ahead.
I was just going to reset the top 10 here real quick. It is Frankenfield and Adams staying out, trying to go for the stage points with Jonathan Cutlip, Tyler Fody, Trey Eidson, Austin Denabnett, Ty McIntosh, Tommy Ryan, Noah Brown, and Tate Lytle, the top 10.
We're going to have a short dash to the end of this stage when they throw the green flag. So if you're going to go for it, now's the time, and it's going to get a little wild, I think.
Oh, I think a little might be an understatement. As you see, the penalty for Jeff Green. Too many stalls for the number 2 as the pace car makes the hard left-hand turn on a pit road. Chad Frankenfield will lead us back to the green. Green means going. We're back underway at Daytona. Great jump from Frankenfield, and he is going to have help behind from Jonathan Cutlip. See right now, Josh Adams has no help from behind as it's about a car length back to the 40 of Tyler Fody. Whoa, we got a car on the apron. What a stay by Jay Connor. Sideways over the apron, but he held onto it. Oh, but we're wrecking in the back.
Caution flag is going to fly. I was about to mention how helpless of a feeling that is when you have no help, and then somebody got turned around, I think, as they were trying to slow down.
Yeah, practically homemade meatball for Chad Turnquist is... What? Yeah, looks like contact 04 and the 26.
Yeah, it looks like the 04 maybe checked up when the Car got turned to the apron, up into the outside wall, into the 87, up on the safer barrier. What a ride! And there you see
My God.
Jeff Green, just had that penalty, getting caught up in it as well. That car's going to roll onto its roof, it looks like. So we're going to take another look at this.
Chad Turnquist, pro skater.
Yeah, he doesn't even ever see this coming, and then right up on his side, and then you're just along for the ride at that point. You're just hoping. There it goes, once over, twice over, three.
Oh
4 or 5 rolls there. Wow. And, that's that 31 degrees of banking. When you start to come down it just gets that momentum rolling so quick. And I think he might take that one just straight to the garage.
Yeah, what a rail grind. I don't think he's going to have to worry about manual on that one. My word. And that is going to end the stage. So the call to stay out for Chad Frankenfield, stage winning call.
Yeah, and everybody, you see a lot of cars coming down pit road right now, and a lot of cars that were involved in that accident, man. That is a great strategy call, and to see that caution come out so quickly, and then, you look at the cars that got caught up in that wreck, and so close to the end of the first stage.
Yeah, this is... they're obviously going to lose a lot of track position, but you know what? You got 10 points in the bucket. You're fine with that.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where you can now go to the back and ride around a little bit. You've got a little extra. Or if you want to take a little bit more aggression because you've got some points in the bank, you have that option as well. It really opens up your flexibility.
Absolutely, and it allows you to just kind of wait, try to fuel save, and then maybe try this strategy again for stage 2, or at the very least be able to manufacture your own track position.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, is track position is so key. Yes, it can go away in a hurry, but if you can get up front and you can get out in front of everybody, then you have the opportunity now to be the blocker. You have the opportunity to control the pace of the race. And, that is all you need at Daytona sometimes, is just the ability to be in front of everybody and control who's got the momentum and what you can do with it.
Absolutely. So we are getting ready to be 1 to green here. But man, how's this changed the mindset now for everyone? Because it seemed like it was fairly clean and straightforward race, and then all of a sudden 2 cautions back to back.
I think you're not going to see people change their driving much. If anything, I think we may see the front of the pack get a little more aggressive, because all of the wrecks so far have been back towards the back. Everybody up front seems to be doing a great job saving it when they do get out of shape. We did have that earlier incident where a couple cars got spun down pit road, but other than that, most of the wrecks have been towards the tail end of the field. So, that does have a habit sometimes of people get a little more confident, a little more daring, because they feel like everybody up front's got the talent to be able to handle it.
Absolutely. Reset the top 10 real quick. It is Cutlip and Fody back on the front row with Trey Eisen and Austin and Abnett. Row 2, Tommy Ryan and Tate Lionel, Gavin Higgins, Joshua Chin, Zach Evans, and Gerald Campbell rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how things are going to go. Coming off of this restart, like you said, we've had a couple of crashes now. Let's see how everybody plays this out. We are still very early in the race, but we are under 100 laps to go. So that internal clock, whether you notice it or not, in your head does start to tick a little bit because, right now it's 90, but next thing you know, it's going to be 50.
Yep. We're finally starting to see the lights come on here at Daytona as the pace car getting ready to make the hard left-hand turn onto pit road. Jonathan Cutlip will lead us back to the restart zone. Green means go. We're back underway at Daytona. Huge jump from Cutlip on the inside.
And he's going to hop up to the outside as they get ready to climb the banking into turn number 1 and looking to form up that outside line once again, get that freight train going and log some laps here. And that inside line has fallen apart as they come off of turn number 2.
Yeah, and that was a big move for Cutlip to get up in front because otherwise that was going to be a whole Lake Norman train just going right by him if he didn't.
Yeah, and that's one of the hardest things to do when you are the leader at these tracks. If the car behind you does not go well. Oh, one car on the apron and a lot of evasive maneuvers.
Yeah, so far that's all it seems to be right now.
I'm not sure who that was, but they made an amazing save. Getting turned onto the apron here is one of the hardest things to save. You've got the transition between the 31 degrees of banking to basically flat apron, and the car just wants to go straight back up the track. So what a job to save that car. And we see it's broken up the pack a little bit. We've got 2 distinct packs now with some stragglers in between.
I believe that might have been the 51 Harrison Talon going for the big spin and the big save. Whoa! Yeah. Oh, Gerald trying to go around the outside of Gavin Higgins. And now he's going to get left out.
Yeah, tried to squeeze up there, but just not enough room, and now he is going to be the odd man out and just dropping back as these cars go by on the inside.
Yeah, that's going to cause a big slowdown to those toward the end of the pack, and that's going to help those trying to catch back up. But right now, I believe that second pack has lost the draft.
Yeah, that second pack really needs to get themselves sorted out and get a little bit more single file and a little bit more cohesive if they're going to catch this lead pack. But I'll tell you, the back of this lead pack is fairly discombobulated as well.
Yeah, they are 3 wide towards the end of this pack, and that is only helping those behind. I think that second pack is actually might have been able to catch back up here.
Yeah, it looks like they are closing it.
Whoa! As that 3 wide battle got real close. Weeks, White, and Campbell.
You see the 14 right up by the wall, and I mean real close to that outside wall.
No kidding. But they have caught
this
back
pack
up.
Yeah, this pack is starting to group back up, so it's going to be interesting to see where the run goes now and who is able to take advantage of it.
Meanwhile, up front, it is still Jonathan Cutlip with no one around him. As everyone just tries to get settled back in after all that.
Yeah, just getting yourself settled back in, figuring out what your car is feeling like now. This track is going to transition as we go from day to night, and you really got to keep a good feel on your car so that you know if you need to make some adjustments before the end of this race.
And you see the inside lane starting to get that energy built back up.
It really is, and once we got these 2 packs back together, it is all go, and it's all gas, no brakes, as we see one car looking towards the middle. Thought better of it as they came off of the corner. That could have been big right there.
And here comes Chad, taking it Chad wide, and no one going with him.
No, he is going to drop back, way back, as that car...
Whoa!
That car looks like it is having some issues. It is out of shape. I don't know if he's got maybe he's heated up the tires, or maybe just made an adjustment that didn't agree, or he may just be abandoning ship, seeing how crazy it's getting up front.
Oh, there's no abandoning ship when it comes to the 15 car.
I tell you what, these three cars at the front of this field, all three of them have been strong all race long. I'm pretty sure these three have run up in the top three for most of this race in some permutation, as you see the 40 giving a huge shove to the 5 going into the corner.
Yeah, obviously, Jonathan Cutlip and Tyler Fody, two of the most experienced in the elite racing leagues when it comes to these plate tracks. But Austin and Abnett, you know, relative newcomer, trying to build up that experience. Obviously getting the fantastic tutelage from his teammate behind. But the skill of that 60 car has been increasing, it seems, lap after lap.
It is, and you know, these tracks, a lot of people think that they are a very easy track because you're wide open, you don't have to brake, you don't have to worry about anything like that, but it's such a different style of racing that you really have to develop a skill set for it. You have to be able to look at the runs around you, look at the momentum in front of you, and just be able to pivot your head to so many different things to not only stay out of trouble, but to be able to catch the momentum and make the moves.
Absolutely. You see, we're 3 wide again. Eckridge, Matthew Weeks, and Mikolajczyk there.
Yeah, what a recovery for Mikolajczyk, who was sideways going through the grass earlier in that first incident, and now he is leading that second pack as we've gotten a little bit broken up again up here at the front.
Yeah, they're gonna have to settle this out quickly, otherwise they just might cost themselves the draft. Look at that gap that is starting to come out. It is getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, that's the thing, is when these cars start to move around like that and they start to get upset, when you have cars that are lined up as well as that front pack is, that gap can form so quickly, and once it widens in a hurry.
Yeah, right. They seem to be okay now as Mikolajczyk is in front of it, and he is back up into the fray and dragging everyone else with him.
He is, and that's sometimes what you need is to get a fast car into the lead of that second pack. It looked like maybe a car that was not running as well got shuffled back. Oh, wow.
Yeah, the side draft there from Trey Eidson was big, and that was almost too big. As he is trying to do anything he can to slow the high line up.
Yeah, that's one of those big risks you take, you know, when you're side drafting in these cars. If you move up and they move down at the same time, you're both in the same piece of... Whoa!
Oh, no! Go to the wall! Gerald Camp, Scott Eckridge! And it looks like it's just going to be a 2-car incident. We stay green.
What a fantastic piece of driving by everybody behind that crash, as it looked like the 31 got turned hard into the outside wall. I don't know if it was just a mistimed move. As we take a look at the replay,
see Eckridge on the outside of the 31 there, and side draft and net code.
Yeah, and it may... Yeah, not a good combination, but it looked like maybe the 31 wanted to move up in front of the 23 to let the 23 push him, but it's just so easy to mismatch when you're trying to do that.
Yeah, so far, no meatball for the 31, but he is absolutely doing the caution dance now.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because not only have you lost the draft now, but the car's got damage, which is going to slow it down even more, and that is just not what you want to have right now. And I think, you know, if you're somebody like Eckridge, he looks like he was able to merge back into the draft without a lot of issues, so that can cover up a little bit of damage right there, but when you've lost the draft and lost that momentum, it is going to drop quickly.
It absolutely is, but meanwhile, back up at the front, still no change here.
And you know, just before that wreck happened, you saw a big wiggle out of the 56 of Lytle as they were coming into the tri-oval. It looks like he has got a looser setup on his car, and boy did that car get squirrely.
Yeah, that 56 does not look like it's driving good.
No, definitely not. Now, for some drivers, they do prefer a looser car, but I would say at a super speedway, I would want my car to be a little more snug and a little more locked to the ground.
Yeah, the place like this, you want it completely safe, stable, but fast as heck, if that even exists.
That is the line that you toe with these setups. You know, you want it to be a little bit looser. You don't want it to be plowing in the corners, but if you've got it too squirrely, all it takes is one bad bump and you're going to be in the infield.
Yeah, sometimes you need that stability because survival and making it to the end is almost more important than pure speed.
Well, as the old adage goes, to finish first you must finish.
Amen.
It's getting a little racy up here at the front as that inside line is starting to get some momentum and starting to get some numbers, and we're getting ready to look at a high-speed 2x2 pace lap as it looks like Eidson is up to third side by side with a Damnet right now, but he wants more than that. He wants the lead.
He sure does. Oh, big sideways for Eidson! Oh, what a save!
What a save!
My
and
goodness!
again, tremendous driving from everybody behind him, not to run over each other, as that car got big sideways going into the corner.
Oh, wow. That was nearly the end of the night for God knows how many. Wow.
Yeah, that's one of those where he's going to be going into his pit next on the next caution going, yeah, I need 4 new tires and a new fire suit, please.
I think everyone behind him is going to be asking for the same.
And that's what we've talked about, though, with these cars. If you are just a little off when you go for that bump draft, you will send the car in front of you all kinds of sideways. But you see the inside line start to get its momentum back up a little bit. They got to get a little more formed up before they're going to be able to challenge again.
Let's go do it again.
Yeah, you see they're working on building that energy back up, but at the rate they're going, I don't know if they're going to be able to do it in time to make a play at this stage win. We are halfway through stage number 2. Whoa, we got a car up by the wall and a car down low. Fuller was up by the wall. That is Nigel Stock down on the apron.
The biggest thing you have to do in his spot is you have to slow it down, not lose too much momentum, as he is going to lose the draft, but you got to slow it down because if you go in on that flat, you're going to go straight up to the wall.
Yeah, the important thing is keeping the car safe, and that is exactly what Nigel is able to do. Not sure what happened with Justin Fuller there.
Yeah, not sure what happened.
See, he's got the run, as you see William White kind of going up, and William was trying to join him. So part of me wonders if that might be somewhat unrelated, because it looked like Stock got a pretty big bump from the 9 of Connor right behind. So I don't know if Nigel was maybe trying to check up, seeing what was going on to his outside or what, but the important thing is no harm, no foul there. We stay green.
Yeah, great job by everybody there. And, when you can at least be on the apron on the straight part, that does help quite a bit, as that, not a lot of room in these little short chutes between the tri-oval and the turns, but just enough room to keep something like that from happening if you get turned in the right spot.
You see the inside lane, they are actually making some massive runs here. They are up to third, now to second. Trey Eidson might be able to battle for the win of this stage.
And I tell you what, a great job by that inside line to get the momentum back up, as Eidson is looking for right now he's side by side for the 4th position, but he is looking for more, trying to get those cars behind him to rally together and give him a big push as they come through turns 3 and 4. And you see the top line as well, that third line trying to get organized, and I think that's what's taken a little bit of the momentum away from the inside line, as cars are hopping around to different lines trying to find out where they want to be, as this stage is going to come to a close very, very shortly.
Yeah, will this outside lane have company from those trying to take it 3? It looks like they're actually starting to scatter a little bit. Whoa!
Big wiggle out of the 66.
Yeah, Tommy Ryan gets spit out into the middle, and it looks like he's going to have people joining him, as we are getting a third lane here.
And now if you are those front cars, you want to know which line has the momentum, which line has the numbers, because you're going to have to make a decision. You're not going to want to sit in the middle with these cars coming on both sides of you.
No, you will not. Got a lap car about in the shot of the screen. Looks like it's the 04 Cochran.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting as well. He is going to drop to the apron, which is the safest thing to do, not only for him, but for the pack, as, once you start to get him stacked up.
Oh no!
Oh, that's going to
there
send
it is.
at least 5, 6, 7 cars collected in a big crash up in 3 and 4. Oh, just a little too much momentum into that corner and slid up into the pack.
Yeah, and it looks like he got some of his South Shore teammates with him. You saw Ray Bracey and David Westergreen involved.
Yeah, just a tough situation. A little too much speed, just came right up the track, and once he did, it sparked off the crash. You see those cars getting up into each other. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars at least, 7. A lot of these guys just had nowhere to go. 04 getting clipped back into it at the very end. Just a rough situation for so many cars.
Yeah, he needed to get off the throttle a lot more.
Yeah, and I think when you're in that position, you really just need, as the pack is going by, you want to try to hang on to the back of the pack. But I think the 04's got a damaged car. I think in that spot, you just have to hit the brakes and let him go past.
Yeah. Well, we are gonna go ahead and get another break in, and we will be back shortly. But we're gonna go ahead and talk about our title sponsor once again. Today's broadcast is brought to you, of course, by Bubba Myers Custom Designs. In the world of iRacing, your paint scheme is your identity. No one helps you build that identity better than Bubba Myers. Specializing in high-quality iRacing paint schemes, they offer everything from highly detailed individual liveries to cohesive team paints that make a statement on the track. With advanced spec network, your car will feature realistic textures and finishes that look phenomenal on the broadcast. Plus, with their custom paint reveals, your team's debut will be an absolute spectacle. When you want professional grade designs for the virtual track, look no further than Bubba Myers Custom Designs. Check them out on X and Discord. Bubba Myers Custom Designs, built for the podium.
Tickets are on sale now for the 5th Enjoy Illinois 300 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. September 11th through 13th brings a full weekend of action with the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and St. Louis's biggest music festival, Confluence. The stars shine on and off the track, and your ticket gets you everything: cars, concerts, camping, food, and fun. Don't miss it. Get your tickets now and save big at WWTRaceway.com.
If you've been waiting for the right time to upgrade, that time is now. Score up to $4,000 off on a 26 brand new Ford Explorer. And our Ford Explorers come with the Bolin Lifetime Powertrain Warranty. So get to Tom Bolin Ford in Hannibal. Heck of a deal, ain't it?
Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand towards victory lane. So don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
The Lucas Oil School of Racing. Simply stated, we are the professional ranks where the quality of the equipment often dictates the outcomes, and all of our cars are designed to perform and race as close as humanly possible. None of our competitors will have an advantage from engineering tactics. Rather, you will compete on a completely level field with a score of immensely talented up-and-coming drivers, all pushing each other to reach their new heights in their respective pursuit in becoming a professional race car driver. Every year, our top-performing graduates move on to the professional racing ladders of IndyCar, F1, and IMSA. Whether drivers compete in 1 or 2 seasons of our series, when they are ready to move on, they are ready to move. The training you receive in our school is an unmatched, unforgettable, first-class education combining the very best racing instruction and education.
Alrighty, we are back and about ready to get back at it. The top 10 right now is Chad Frankenfield, just like clockwork, trying to pull the strap to get another stage win here. Ty McIntosh next to him on the front row, and then Noah Brown and Connor Thompson, top 4, with Jonathan Cutlip, Tyler Fody, Joshua Chin, Trey Eidson, Austin Nabnett, and Tate Lytle rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, should be an interesting little shootout here to the end of the second stage, and then it's the run to the finish. And I tell you, you got these cars up at the front are going to want a caution. Hopefully not too long after the end of the stage.
Absolutely. As the pace car getting ready to make the hard left-hand turn onto pit road. Chad Frankenfield lead us back to the restart zone. Green means going. We're back underway at Daytona. 6 laps to go in stage 2.
What a job managing the gap on that jump. You know, that's one of the hardest things. You get too big of a gap and you will get past, but what a great job by Frankenfield to manage that gap, and he's going to lead it going into turn number 1 as that top line is struggling to get going.
Yeah, I'm wondering, because I believe Ty McIntosh was the first one that hit the 04 when he, Oh no! We got car! Big save by Austin and Abnett getting turned onto the apron on the back straightaway. One of the fastest cars all night. Oh, hang on to it, Austin. Jeez. Oh no, we're wrecking in front.
Wrecking in front of him. Big crash. The 26 is in it. Couple of other cars tearing it up. I saw a fender or a hood go flying. Oh, the 2 of Jeff Green with the meatball.
Yeah, another practically homemade meatball. And See? Seemed. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
What a shot into the back. Somebody up in front of these cars got turned sideways, and you just can't always check up in time. The 21 with heavy damage, that's whose hood I saw go flying. The TV panel of the 26 also going flying.
And caution is finally out. See, contact there up at the front. That might have been. No, that is William White and Kyle Hanshaw. So there's going to be a bit of a checkup here from the initial incident with Inabnet and Picumer. And I think William White was kind of going a little high, not sure what type of run he was going to get. Makes contact with Hanshaw, and around goes the 46.
And then once the 46 goes around, the guys behind the 21 just know where to go. You see the 34 of Phillips. He's going to plow into the back of the 46, and it is just on from there.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is on like Donkey Kong in the back.
And what a timely caution again for those guys that, stayed out. And especially Brown, who's now up in the lead. McIntosh to second. Frankenfield up in third. A timely caution for them.
Yeah. But we're still... they're still discussing on if they're gonna end the stage here. So it sounds like they are in fact ending the stage.
Yeah, and I think that's the right call to make. You don't want to try to push it too hard with a lap or two shoot out. That's a great way to get quite a few cars torn up. I think it's a good call to just go ahead and let's get ready for the third stage.
Yeah, although the argument everyone is making in the chat is that we're going to have one lap left in the stage. So...
Yeah, and I think obviously if you're one of those guys, Cutlip, Fody, Chin, Lytle, you want to see that lap because you want to see if you can get, maybe eke out a stage win here or pick up another couple of points. But I tell you, it's one of those things where you want it so bad in the moment, but if you get it and it all goes wrong, you're going to be regretting that.
It sure is. So still a lot of intense discussion.
You see, now we are almost fully transitioned to darkness. This is the third largest venue that has full night lighting in the world.
Well, why they continue to argue, sounds like tally to Kyle Hanshaw on that caution.
It's going to be interesting to see, what cars that were involved in that incident are going to have, a competitive car still. That's the biggest thing. You may not have a car that can go out there and lead for the next, 100 laps or 60 laps, but at the same time, you may have something where you can push, or you may have something where if you get a good push, you can make something happen, even with a little bit of a damaged car.
Go ahead and reset the top 10 here. Front row, Cutlip and Tyler Fody. Joshua Chin and Tate Lytle right behind. Trey Eitzen, Gavin Higgins, Matthew Weeks, Bryce Fody, Caleb Pacumer, and Ryan Borges round out the top 10. I believe that is the night over for Jeff Green.
Yeah, tough break for him. He had nowhere to go on that, and unfortunately, when you hit the front end of these Xfinity cars hard enough, that motor goes south, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, it's wild how sensitive the front ends of these cars are. It feels like the tiniest little tap is enough to absolutely grenade your engine.
It is, and even sometimes if it doesn't take it out completely, you can see these cars lose, just enough speed, just enough RPM that you're essentially done for the day. And some guys will hang out there, they'll sit out there, they'll make their laps and try to make up a couple points. But some guys, once it's done, it's done, and they're just going to take it to the garage. And don't blame either side for their actions.
Absolutely.
Green is going to join Hanner. I believe Ryan also out, along with Turnquist and Hosek.
So we see the pace car getting ready to make the hard left-hand turn on a pit road. Jonathan Cutlip will lead us back to the restart zone. Greenman's going. We are back underway at Daytona. A fantastic jump from the two teammates there on the inside.
And that's the kind of jump that you want. You want that car behind you to go when you go and give you that big shove out front, as they are going to get separated now on that inside line, which could give that outside line the chance to come back together. But Cutlip going to go ahead and move up. Oh, moved up in front of Fody for a second, but now going to drop down back in front of Chin.
Yeah, too big of a high rate of speed from that outside lane. And here they come. Tyler Fody back up front thanks to the push from his Lake Norman teammate behind.
Taking a big push from Tate Lytle now, as they're both getting a big push from Higgins, who's up there third in line on that top line. And that top line is going to take the momentum, and they are going to take the lead and probably the first 3 or 4 spots.
Yeah, meanwhile, we got a little bit of 3 wide there further back. Jeff Fuller trying to make it up with some help from Tommy Ryan behind.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that we're going to see a lot of in this final stage is guys trying out lines, guys trying to find where can I put my car to get past the rest of this pack and get up there and fight for this win.
Yeah, and you see that the inside lane, they're just starting to lose that energy. Chin trying. Oh, big crash! Caleb Pacumer up into the wall. Jeff Fuller. Oh, and they're going around. And down there, Frankenfield. Eckridge involved.
Several cars, and I mean, one car got turned up into the wall, and once they did, it was on from there. The big one has happened here at Daytona.
Yeah. Ty McIntosh saying we should go on his onboard. As you see contact between Pacumer and Jeff Fuller. That's what puts the 59 around in practically homemade meatball for Tommy Ryan. Down into Ray Bracey and David Westergreen.
And then you just see these cars getting turned. Oh, the 60 going around. What a tough break for him. 23 getting involved in the 15. Boy, he's glad for those stage points right now.
He sure is. That is some significant damage to the 15.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of cars got damage in that. What a rough moment as we take a look here from the onboard of Ty McIntosh, as this is going to happen right in front of him.
Whoa!
The seas part, and he just barely squeezes through there. What a job by Ty McIntosh.
Ty Mater lives to see another day.
Yeah, that is just a rough incident. Two guys that are right up there by the wall, trying to squeeze just a little more out of it, and I just think that Humer thought he had more room than he did, and, you know, it just takes something small like that, and you see how many cars got caught up in it.
I think Justin Fuller is taking accountability, and yep, Tally going to the 55 car there.
That is something that you'll see a lot of times in these racing leagues like this is, you know, you start to race around people enough, you start to know what they're going to do. And, you know, there's a reason that we're on iRacing. It's because we're not the highest professionals, but, you know, it takes a lot to be able to say, hey, that one was on me. That's my bad.
Absolutely. And that is something that you don't always see a whole lot.
It isn't, no, and, you know, I think a lot of times, especially on something like iRacing, you know, it's just a situation of you see things one way and they see things another way, especially, you know, when you have things like netcode and things like that that are going on. But, you know, I don't know about you, James, but I'm the kind of racer, I'll just go, that might have been on me, so I'll go ahead and take the blame on that one. But, you know, I tell you, some racers get real fired up.
They absolutely do.
So you see an EOL penalty for Brandon Wilkinson, one of the cars involved in that accident. And it's going to be interesting to see how many cars from that accident are able to keep going. A lot of them on pit road right now trying to get repairs, trying to get something back together to see if they can finish out this race.
And it'll be interesting to see how much damage from those involved in that. See also meatball for Humer and Jacob Adams.
So these cars are going to get formed up as we are going to come to the one to go this time.
Zach Evans, the voice of reason. Anyways, the intensity is really starting to ratchet up here, Drew.
It is, and, you know, you wonder how much of it is just the intensity of super speedway racing, and, you know, there's got to be a little bit of it that it's the first race of the season, you're antsy, you want to get your season started off right, and, you know, a lot of times you can make mistakes just because you're just a little too eager, you got a little too much of get to the finish-itis.
Yeah. Fortunately, the side effect is getting to the finish on a wrecker.
Yeah, and that's the thing about being an aggressive driver. It is checkers or wreckers, and unfortunately for a lot of guys, they're on the wrecker right now.
We'll go ahead and reset the top 10 here. It is Fody and Lytle with Cutlip, Higgins, Joshua Chin, Bryce Fody, Trey Eidson, Ryan Borges, Matthew Weeks, and William White, the top 10.
Yeah, just saw through our updates that Humer has taken his car to the garage. He is done for the day.
Yeah, heartbreak for Caleb. We'll see if one of his Lake Norman teammates can bring home the win. Space car makes a hard left-hand turn onto pit road. Greeny's going. We're back underway at Daytona.
Great start by the inside line, not so good for the outside line as they got a little bit stacked up, but now they're going to start to get the momentum as Fody's going to move up in front of Lytle, and that top line is going to surge to the front.
Yeah, the teammates going to be working together pretty well here. That that hurt the inside lane. Is not only did Higgins lose the help from in front, he didn't have a whole lot of help from behind. So it took a minute for Bryce Fody to catch up, and now just like that, the top three on the outside are all alone in front. But here comes the inside, trying to make a comeback.
And I tell you what, the quickest way to turn a blank car into a decaled car is to come up here, lead some laps at Daytona, and he is fighting for the second spot right now. He wants the lead as they head towards turn number 1.
Yes, they do. Higgins hoping for the shove from Bryce Fody here.
Yeah, he needs that inside line to get a little bit more organized, get a little bit of a push. You know, you see the momentum can kind of build from the back to the front here at these tracks, especially in these these O'Reilly B-Class cars.
And now you're just keeping an eye on the middle of the pack, trying to see who is the first to take it 3.
Yeah, you're going to look for somebody to take it 3 up to the outside. You're going to look for somebody to maybe look to the middle as well, as sometimes you can get a draft off both the inside and outside and really make some hay in the middle. As you see, it is still Lytle and Fody with that lead, and it's Higgins on the inside trying to get past the 5 and trying to get up pulled, but it looks like I'm not sure if Fody can't get the closeness, or if he's just not getting the pushes at the right spot, because it seems like he stalls out right about that 3rd place car.
Yeah, they just need a little more oomph. Meanwhile, we still have a lot of cars still on track right now.
We do, and a lot of cars not just on track, but up in that main pack. As you see, looking back in the field, some of those cars that were just involved in that big wreck are put together enough to be hanging out in the pack, including Austin and Abnett, who we saw get turned around sideways and save the car and then get caught up in that crash.
Yeah, and you see Frankerfield still in the pack with his damage.
And the good thing about a track like Daytona, a track like Talladega, is that you can take a damaged car down the pit road and sit there for a little bit longer than you can at a lot of tracks. It really gives you an opportunity to get a lot more of that damage fixed and get that car a lot more competitive.
Oh, here we go. Here comes a couple of the shift cars taking it 3 towards the back of the pack. Fuller and Adams.
And I tell you, another car that I would keep an eye on as this goes on is that 5 of Cutlip. He keeps peeking down, thinking about getting down in front of Higgins as they come off of the corners. I wonder if he's watching their momentum to see if he can maybe come up here and seize this lead back.
Yeah, I'm honestly kind of surprised they have it, as you see. Alrighty, we are back. A little bit of technical difficulties, unfortunately, but we are still here and still keeping an eye on this race. Fody continues to lead, and nothing has changed up front.
No big changes up at the front, but you see everybody trying to get organized, trying to figure out where they want to be as we come up to the end of this race. This is one of those races where you have to have that momentum and you have to know where you're going to go with it, because it is going to change in a hurry as these laps wind down.
You can say that again.
And just a heads up, these cars are going to have to deal with a lap car very shortly. There is a lap car about a half a lap ahead of them. I was able to see it in that longer shot, so that is something that they're going to have to look at as this continues.
That's not a problem. It's not like anything happened the last time they caught up to a lap car here. Nothing to worry about. Not at all.
It'll be fine as You know, I was gonna say something about Kevin LePage last time. I better not try to make the same joke this time because that's what happened last time, and we saw that car go up in front of the pack a little bit.
Yeah, meanwhile, here comes the third lane. The shifty sports cars are lining up together.
Yeah, and you got to get that lined up. You got to get that momentum going now. But I tell you what, the hardest thing for them is going to be is that those front cars are not quite using the middle line and not quite using the high line, and it is going to cause a log jam as that third line tries to get its momentum together.
Yeah, now Scott Eckridge has been ordered to bring it on the pit road. He is past the 6 laps down rule here at the super speedways.
Yeah, and it's not only a good move for the pack, but also a good move for him. You know, keeps him from getting hit by somebody. You know, we've seen it a couple times that cars will get turned sideways or get shot out of the pack, and if you're down there on that apron, even though you're out of the way, you could get walloped in a hurry.
Yeah, meanwhile, the Shift Esports guys making that third lane work did not last long as we're back to just 2. You see,
Two
Gavin
wide.
Higgins has jumped up there, and now it's Bryce Fody leading the train.
Yeah, I think Higgins just was not happy with what he was getting on the inside line, so he's going to jump into the outside, you know, let things sort a little bit, let things move around a little bit and see if he can re-rack and come back at it.
Let's see, they're starting to get some momentum here.
They are, and you know, you start to see these cars trend down just a little bit towards the inside line, and you know, you wonder if they're going to start to move down just to keep the momentum from the inside, or if they're going to try to stay up at the top and keep that third line from forming.
Yeah. Well, you see Weeks doing a great job of shoving Bryce Fody forward.
Yeah, and again, just makes me wonder if that 80 car of Fody just is not getting the speed out of it he wants, but now he's up there challenging for 4th, and it looks like he does have a little bit of momentum behind him.
Yeah, of course, Matthew Weeks, very experienced and accomplished in this type of racing. If there is someone you want pushing you forward, it's going to be that 11 car.
Doing a great job pushing on the inside, but a lot of the problem for them right now is the momentum is with the high side and the numbers with the high side. One of the things that I'm noticing, though, if you watch the cars on the high side, they are staying pretty much in line with each other, and you look at that inside, it's moving around a lot, it's snaking its way down, and that right there can kill all of the momentum.
Yeah, everyone just needs to keep it as straight and true as they can. Try not to scrub off any speed, and that's not going to help with how high Bryce Fody got on corner exit.
No, it doesn't look like Fody's car is handling the way he quite wants it to, and I think that is one of those things where we're going to have to keep an eye on that as this race continues.
Yeah, we've seen it happen all too many times where someone just gets a little high on exit, they try to come back down, and it upsets the car, turns them around, and all hell breaks loose from there.
And the unfortunate thing when you're that car and that car's not handling the way you want it to, or it's not getting the speed up the way that you want it to, one of the hardest things about that is that you want to go forward, but it's going to make those guys behind you get frustrated, and if they get frustrated, you could find yourself getting shoved out of the way.
Yeah, and there is plenty of room to try to banish someone into the sucker hole in the middle.
And that is a great word for it, because once you hit that middle, you are going backwards quick, fast, and in a hurry.
And it's hard to gain those spots, but boy howdy is it easy to lose them.
And track position is going to become a premium as this race goes on. You want to be in, you don't want to be the guy that's way in the back of the pack and stuck on the bottom of 3 wide with nowhere to go. You want to be one of those cars that has a little bit of flexibility. You want to have a little bit of, I can go here, I can go here. Oh, wow.
Yeah, big move from William White trying to get down to the bottom. Oh, Justin Fuller up high, gets the wall a little bit. He's going to hold on to it.
Great job by everybody. And look who is sneaking his way back up to the front, towards the front. It's that number 60 car.
Yeah, the 60 of Austin and Abnett, no worse for the wear, involved in a couple moments, but that 60 still has some serious speed.
And speaking of speed, Fody's starting to get that speed coming up on the... Oh, there we go.
Oh, here we go. Oh, a little bit of contact from Weeks and Chin. As they are trying to get by Bryce Fody. Weeks is getting some help from Justin Fuller here. And it looks like Abnett's going to join. Campbell jumps to the high side.
3 wide coming off of turn number 4. As you see, like I mentioned earlier, I figured Fody might get shuffled out at some point. Oh, big stack up!
Yeah, you see Higgins trying to push Ryan Borges as hard as he can, trying to get them back up to the top 4.
Weeks now to the inside of Higgins, now up. As we see those 4 cars breaking away, but I tell you, they are not breaking away by much.
Yeah, there's we got some separation here. There's a few other packs that have formed now because of checking up from all the chaos starting to happen around.
Yeah,
and a big move from Chin and Jonathan Cullip. The teammates are going to jump to the inside of the late Norman teammates, trying to take over the lead. And here they come. What does Fody do? He does nothing. He stays on the outside as Chin pushes Cutlip back to the race lead.
What a fantastic move by Cutlip and Chin as they waited until that inside line finally had momentum. They jumped down to the inside, broke up the consistency and the momentum of that top line, and stormed to the lead.
Yeah, and you knew it was only a matter of time before those two tried to take back control of this race.
I tell you, Fody and Lytle not giving up on the outside. Fody back to the lead with Lytle pushing him.
You see, it is just this main pack here is a lot of stragglers behind.
And look at Higgins and Lytle pushing Fody back to the lead as now it's going to put Cutlip back to the 4th spot, and now he's back up to 3rd and into a battle for 2nd.
He was looking but was unable to get to the inside of Lytle. And here we go. 3rd line trying once again, led by Shift.
And I tell you what, if you're that 2nd pack that's back there, you are loving to see this. These cars are 3 wide. That's going to slow them down. That's going to create a big wake in the air and maybe allow that 2nd pack to catch up. But look at this, 3 wide for the top 5 and looking maybe for 3 wide for the lead.
I don't think they're going to catch up on pace. I think they need a caution at this rate with how far back they are. They might be getting it. Gerald Campbell almost got the wall entry at turn 1, and that's causing a check up on that 3rd line. Fuller's got to be careful. Big move from Borges there.
Big move, and I tell you what, he jumped up and gave the momentum to Fody and Lytle, who were about to lose it. They had a big gap back to Higgins, and now you see Higgins leading that middle line, and he's going to drop down to the 2nd line and take 3rd spot in that 2nd line.
And you see Campbell is giving up down into the middle line, but the Shift teammates continue to try, and you're just kind of waiting for Ryan Borges to join them there. Right now, they're not close enough.
Lytle with another big push to Fody, going to put both of them out on the lead, and they're going to drop down in front of Cutlip and Chin, as now you see the back of the pack getting a little bit disorganized, trying to figure out which line is going to be the one with the momentum, as it looks like the top 5 cars.
Oh, no! Contact! Fuller into the wall! And we stay green!
What a save, and what a great job by everybody to avoid that, as somebody, I believe you said it was Fuller, got turned into the wall, and everybody did a fantastic job keeping their cars straight.
Yeah, that could have been abject disaster, but that is given the next 4 there off the draft an opportunity to try to come back here. They are not that far.
And it really broke up that outside line, as you see right now the 11 car stuck up there by himself, looking for anybody to come and give him a help, as we are single file on the inside right now. But you see, here comes a Nabnet and a couple of other cars starting to look up to that outside line.
Yeah, and part of me may be wondering if green flag pit stops could be taking place here with how single file we've gotten all of a sudden.
Yeah, and I tell you what, you want to talk about a tough pit road to get onto. It is right here at Daytona. You're coming off the corner at almost 200 miles an hour and having to slow all the way down to, I believe it's 65, the pit road speed here.
Yeah, and then you're also having to factor in keeping an eye on everyone around you, making sure that you're not at the risk of hitting anyone. No one is going to be hitting you. Someone spins out in front. It's just so many moving parts to a green flag stop here at Daytona. There is nothing more nerve-wracking. And add on to that, any slight mistake will cost you the draft. And suddenly you're not controlling your own destiny. You are doing the caution dance at that point.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of these teams will run their brake bias way back in these cars so that they can drag the brake a little bit without affecting their forward momentum too much. And you got to crank that back forward when you come to that pit stop, or you're going to go sideways down the apron.
Yeah, that's why we always see cars spin on entry. Too much rear brake bias, and around she goes. And that's difficult because you can't really do a whole big brake bias change in the car. You can only go 3% in either direction.
Yeah, and that is one of the things that you have to balance here. You know, personally, I do like to run a little bit more front bias for things like green flag pit stops, for things like wreck avoidance. You know, you don't want to lock it up and get it sideways and become part of the wreck before you even get to it.
Absolutely. We are coming to just 30 laps to go here in the season opener.
This is where you are really going to see the intensity ratchet up. That pay window is getting ready to open, and everybody's going to have their eyes on that checkered flag. And right now, I think if you're one of these cars that's in that second pack, you want to start thinking about, if we're going to make green flag pit stops, when do we want to make those green flag pit stops?
And hope that you are close enough to some dancing partners here.
I tell you, as much as we just talked about the everything singling out, a lot of cars starting to do the caution dance again, because we have got them 2 wide, high-speed pace lap here at Daytona. And Weeks is going to go to the lead. He's got a big push from a Nabnet as they head into turn number 1.
Yeah, maybe caught them sleeping here as they are now back. Matthew Weeks taking the lead for the first time tonight, as here comes Fuller leading the outside.
And what a great recovery by a Nabnet, all the way up to second place after being spun out, bounced around, and pinballed in that one accident. And now he is pushing the leader as they come off of turn number 4. But Fuller is starting to build up some momentum in that high side as we have a couple cars splitting off.
Couple of the Racecraft cars, Cutlip, Chin, and then Abbott's William White joining them. So that is the first 3 to make the first pit stop.
And that is one of the things that you have to do here at Daytona, especially in a race like this. If you have teammates use them. Get on the same page when you're going to pit. Otherwise, if you come out by yourself, you are in trouble.
Let's see, pretty equal pit stops. Good work by those three.
Yeah, they're going to come out right within a tenth of each other, and that's going to allow them to get lined up and start drafting with each other. And, you know, those three cars made pit stops the earliest. We're going to see if anybody else is going to come in the next few laps, but, you know, this is the point where you start to play strategy. Maybe I can pit a little bit earlier, we get a caution, now we're up at the front.
Yeah, they're going to be hoping for that caution, because if this main pack decides to stay out longer, they are going to be at a huge disadvantage, because what you gain from being able to come onto pit road a lot more efficiently, not having to worry about so many cars around you, you're absolutely going to lose from a smaller pack. 3 cars in a draft is a lot slower than this big old pack right here.
Yeah, and you see as this pack comes off of turn number 4 and into the tri-oval, still nobody coming to pit road yet. Probably a lot of discussion going on inside the teams. When do you want to pit? When do you want to pit? You want to try to get that arranged. You just don't want it to take too long.
And could we be starting to see some of that take place here? There's a lot of moving and scattering going on with this main pack.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of cars getting into position. You don't want to be on that high line when you're coming to pit. And at the same time, if you're not planning to pit for a few laps, you don't want to be on that low line, because sometimes when those cars start cutting down to the inside, if somebody gets a little bit loose, you're plowing into the back of them.
It's interesting seeing Mikolajczyk up there. I'm surprised he didn't come with his Racecraft teammates.
Yeah, and that's one of those situations where you wonder, is he running a little bit different strategy, or is it a situation that he just did not get the message in time or was not able to get down? But you know what? Right now, you've kind of made the bed you're going to have to lie in for right now.
Yeah, and the important thing is that you still have an opportunity to at least come down with some other cars. You're going to hear them announce their pit at some point, so you have that. And here we go. Here comes Lake Norman cars and the shift cars. Some South Shore as well. A lot of cars bringing it down.
Fantastic job by everybody getting onto pit road. Gave each other plenty of room so that they could come down, get into their box, and get out. And there's going to be a big pack of cars, as you see a lot of cars from the second pack now come sliding in.
Yeah, you saw that was a perfect pit box entry for Matthew Weeks. Dead center, exactly what you hope to see. And he is going to get the big reward. Look at that. He is going to be leading this pack, as there's a lot of separation here.
Yeah, what he's going to have to do, what him and Higgins are going to have to do, is they're going to have to manage the gap back to this other group of cars that just came off pit road. Otherwise, they're just going to storm past you, and you're going to be trying to fight from the back of there.
Yeah, we'll see. How big are the gaps here? Higgins and Weeks are all alone by themselves, but here comes the Racecraft cars around this big pack, and they look to be big winners.
What a move, and what a way to come and take this, as here they come. They're going to go up past Weeks and Higgins, and they may inherit the lead as this pit cycle comes through.
Yeah, and now what can you do if you're in the next few packs? Can you try to link together and work together to catch up to these lead 3? So it looks like Higgins wasn't able to hold on to the draft, and you're going to see Weeks side draft White, trying to slow them down just enough so he can grab a hold, and it looks like he has.
What a fantastic job, as you see the pack forming up behind Higgins. Higgins is going to have to just let him go past, try to grab onto the back of him. But I tell you what, Right now, these 3 cars are going to have to try to chase down that last group of cars that just pit, as they are going to get past Campbell and Mikolajczyk, it looks like. But there's a bit of a gap up to these other cars, but these 3 are working together so smoothly.
Yeah, perfect teamwork. See Justin Fuller all alone by himself in the race lead.
And he's going to have to move up and out of the way as the 64 and 22 come past him.
And it looks like he's gonna hold onto the draft.
And what you are going to see now is you are going to see they're going to get all lined up nose to tail, and then it's going to be spreading back out into that 2 and 3 wide, as right now it is Rucker who is technically in the second place. It looks like Hanshaw has yet to make a pit stop.
Whoa! There's a big block! Oh, a near disaster! My God! What a move by Adams, trying to slow down the run of the Racecraft cars, and that was almost nearly big one, number 2. Oh no, they're making wins and line. Phillips ended out and involved.
What a tough break for Weeks. What a tough break for Anabnit. He's going to get a practically homemade meatball as we see this big block and the momentum of those Racecraft cars getting disrupted up here. And I tell you, nearly a couple of wrecks as those cars tried to weave to the inside, and it looks like the 11 just trying to follow the momentum is going to come up the track, right into the side of the 43 and up into the wall, and it is on from there.
Yeah, you see the 43 going down the track right in front of Phillips and Anabnit, and that is a hard hit. You see William White almost going over.
Tough break for these 2 cars. They just had nowhere to go. Once White got sideways, they are just along for the ride. You know, you shoot off of that wall sideways, you have no control of the car. You just try to get down to the inside. Wow, Anabnit just about did the Ryan Preece as the front of that car came off of the track. And man, just a rough end to what was an up and down night for Anabnit.
And you see, it looks like tally to the 11 here. But man, this is a huge break for those that were well out of the draft.
Yeah, huge break for a lot of cars here. Shame has to come at the expense of some of these really fast cars. As you see Phillips bringing it down, he is going to try to get some of his damage repaired. You've got Anabnit who is most likely going to be out of this one, at least as far as winning. As you see, that right front tire is not moving at all. That is a rough end to the night for Austin Anabnit.
Yeah, heartbreak. Oh, can't even get into his box.
So you see Corey Abbott is going to also pick up a practically homemade meatball flag. Not sure if he was involved in that one or if he got damage elsewhere, but man, just a rough break for a lot of these cars. But now this is going to set us up with less than 20 to go. I think things are about to get wild, James.
Absolutely. We're going to go ahead and get another break in, and we will be back shortly. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Bubba Myers Custom Designs. In the world of iRacing, your paint scheme is your identity, and no one helps you build that identity better than Bubba Myers. Specializing in high-quality iRacing paint schemes, they offer everything from highly detailed individual liveries to cohesive team paints that make a statement on track. With the advanced spec map work, your car will feature realistic textures and finishes that look phenomenal on the broadcast. Plus, with their custom paint reveals, your team's debut will be an absolute spectacle. When you want professional-grade designs for the virtual track, look no further than Bubba Myers Custom Designs. Check them out on X and Discord. Bubba Myers Custom Designs, built for the podium.
If you've been waiting for the right time to upgrade, that time is now. Score up to $4,000 off on a 26 brand new Ford Explorer. And our Ford Explorers come with the Bolin Lifetime Powertrain Warranty. So get to Tom Bolin Ford in Hannibal. Heck of a deal, ain't it?
Tickets are on sale now for the 5th Enjoy Illinois 300 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. September 11th through 13th brings a full weekend of action with the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and St. Louis's biggest music festival, Confluence. The stars shine on and off the track, and your ticket gets you everything: cars, concerts, camping, food, and fun. Don't miss it. Get your tickets now and save big at WWTRaceway.com.
Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand towards victory lane. So don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
The Lucas Oil School of Racing. Simply stated, we are the professional ranks where the quality of the equipment often dictates the outcomes, and all of our cars are designed to perform and race as close as humanly possible. None of our competitors will have an advantage from engineering tactics. Rather, you will compete on a completely level field with a score of immensely talented up-and-coming drivers, all pushing each other to reach their new heights in their respective pursuit in becoming a professional race car driver. Every year, our top-performing graduates move on to the professional racing ladders of IndyCar, F1, and IMSA. Whether drivers compete in 1 or 2 seasons of our series, when they are ready to move on, they are ready to move. The training you receive in our school is an unmatched, unforgettable, first-class education combining the very best racing instruction and education.
Alrighty, we are back and about ready to get back at it here. We're going to have just 18 laps to go in the season opener as the pace car makes the hard left-hand turn on a pit road. Joshua Chin will lead us back to the restart zone. Green means go. We're back underway at Daytona. Fantastic launch from the outside as Chin's going to have help from Mikolajczyk behind.
Do you see these cars coming up to speed? It is going to be Chin with Mikolajczyk. What a move right there by Adams, jumping up in front of Fuller to lead that outside line.
Yeah, trying to get linked up with his teammate, trying to get the shift cars forward. They locked out the top 3 in last night's truck opener, and they're trying to do the same tonight as Mikolajczyk makes a big move, and Josh Adams fires back with a big move of his own, and here comes Fuller around the outside. Oh, Mikolajczyk almost makes contact with his teammate. Oh, he almost makes contact with Bodie. Hang on to it, Paul.
Hang on to it indeed, as he got pushed into the middle, and that is the worst spot to be in. You've got cars on both sides trying to keep off of both of them, and what a great job by him as he almost made contact. And look at this, Cutlip back to the lead.
And Andrew Rucker is making his way to the front, taking Chad Frankenfield with him, leading this inside as Joshua Chin is also being put in the sucker hole, trying to side draft, but it's not working right now as he drops down to the inside.
It's going to be Rucker on the inside with Cutlip on the outside. Rucker's got help from Frankenfield, and Cutlip has help from Adams and Fuller up on that top line, but right now it is Rucker with the lead off of the corner.
And Cutlip has got to be careful. He's got the teammates working with him as he's trying to keep Adams at bay.
Adams keeps picking up to the outside line as we have just 16 laps to go in this race. It is go time. The pay window is open at Daytona.
Chad is giving a huge shove to Andrew Rucker. Rucker and Chad, that's certainly not a recipe for disaster as they're trying to get to the lead. Oh, once again, a big push from the 15 into the 64.
Rucker.
Oh, steer contact, and here comes Adams making the inside move, sending Cullip to the back. Is Fuller sticking with his teammate?
Cutlip hung out to dry.
Sideways for Fuller. What a save by Fuller.
They're hung out to dry for right now, but he's got momentum coming, and it's a battle for the lead heading on to turn number 1.
Yeah, Ty McIntosh giving the push to Cutlip as another big push from Frankenfield into Rucker, and Rucker having to save it on the apron.
Rucker's holding on for dear life as they come off of turn number 2. Side by side, 3 wide. Oh!
Oh, Chad, you gotta be careful, man. You gotta be a lot less offset than that as the Shifty Sports boys are lean, but here comes Cutlip. He's got no help, and a big move from McIntosh following the 5 car.
What a move by Cutlip. He's going to try to grab McIntosh and the momentum to the middle line, now down to the bottom as they come down. 14 to go here at Daytona, and the intensity it continues to creep up.
And here's David Westergreen. We have hardly said his name, but our ERN colleague up here in the top 10 trying to bring home the dub. But he's got work to do. He is still buried in that outside lane, trying to find an avenue to go as you see Bryce Bodie getting a shove from Joshua Chin in the middle as McIntosh is pushing the 5 car back to the lead side by side with Josh Adams.
Side by side, they're going to come off of turn number 4. They're side drafting. They're leaning on each other. Right now as they come to the line, it's going to be Cutlip by a hair with 13 to go at Daytona.
And here comes the third lane. Westergreen jumps out in front of the 27 of Lights, and they're trying to build the energy, trying to make this a 3-way battle for the win.
You see momentum starting to get a little bit up there. Oh!
Big move from Cutlip to block off the Shift boys. Hanfody gonna drop down, and he's gonna get the block from Adams, and he pushes Adams out of the way. But Adams stays in front of the 40 car, as now it's Justin Fuller all by himself. But here comes Westergreen with the run, trying to help the 55.
They are getting stacked up 3 wide right now. We've got the first 3 breaking out just a little bit, but McIntosh on the inside leading that inside line, and the outside line having the momentum right now. The middle just dropping back.
And Westergreen is just hoping that this lead train on the outside gets out just far enough for him to drop down in front of his teammate McIntosh on the inside as they're going by the lap car of Zach Evans. Another one of our ERN colleagues unfortunately had connection issues. Heartbreak for Zach. But here comes the inside lane. Here comes Ty.
McIntosh, who just barely missed a wreck earlier, is now looking for the lead on the inside. He's got the momentum.
Whoa.
He's got the push. Ty McIntosh to the lead at Daytona with 11 laps to go.
Ty Mater is hoping that he's real gone. Trying to be the winner. Life is a highway. Whatever other Cars reference you can make at this point. Oh no! Ty having to make the save! Oh, we're checking up! And there it is! Big wreck in the midfield! And caution is out! Harrison Talon involved! Tate Lytle!
Oh, what a tough break for Lytle. Borges is going to end up with a practically homemade meatball out of this. It started with Ty McIntosh, and it just accordioned through the field. McIntosh gets turned sideways, and then Rucker, and then Frankenfield all the way back to the 51. And then once he got on that apron, just nowhere to go for the 29 of Borges, nowhere to go for Tate Lytle. Oh, what a rough break for Higgins as well.
Yeah, Higgins is already towed. The 20 car is DOA.
Man, what a rough end to his night. He was doing so well tonight. Go up there in that unsponsored car. Just a rough end to his night. Rough end of the night for a lot of these guys. As we're going to take an onboard here from Dustin Dewar. You see right in front, nowhere to go, and he is in the wall, but he may be okay. He may be able to bring that one back around.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse for the 32 car there.
Great job by him to minimize the damage, but man, you just feel for these cars that didn't have any idea that that was coming. You know, all it takes is a little bit of being offset when you make that push, and it will take out a lot of cars, as we just saw right there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Noah Brown and Ray Bracey telling us to watch their onboards. See on board with the Catman. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Great job from Ray.
And I tell you what, one of the things that these drivers are thankful for now is that backstretch being paved as far as it is, because you can just dive down to that paved runoff and get out of the way of these wrecks.
Whoa, Noah Brown. So close to the back of the 77 of Mikolajczyk.
Yeah, he just about ran through Mikolajczyk and just barely squeezes past him, and that is going to keep Noah Brown in this race, because that would have possibly been race-ending damage had he gotten into the back of Mikolajczyk.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the lucky dog is going to Zach Evans. That's going to put him just 4 laps.
And, you know, for somebody like Evans, yes, that doesn't seem like a huge gain, but when you have cars going out towards the end of this race or having to tow at the end of this race, you can pick up a lot of valuable points by just staying out there and being able to make up a little bit of room.
Absolutely. And you never know, there could very well be a chance that Zach Evans gets back on the lead lap here before the night is over. We have seen stranger things happen here at Daytona.
We have, and you know, all you have to do is be up somewhere in that lead pack towards the end, and you know, you come back, all it takes is a couple more cautions, and he's right back in this.
And Drew, this is going to get really quite silly. We are going to be 8 laps to go this time. I'd say about 7 to go when we finally get back green here. Oh, we haven't seen anything yet craziness-wise from everyone here.
No, I don't think we've seen the last caution. I don't think we've seen the last wreck. And I was just noticing on our pylon at Nabnett and the 11 both out of this race. I don't think they're going to be the last cars out of this race either.
Yeah, I'd say you're probably right on that one. Plenty of time to junk a few more cars here.
Plenty of time to junk more cars, and you know, if you're one of those cars that may be a little bit damaged and, you know, not quite as competitive, this may be the time that you want to hang towards the back and let the chaos unfold in front of you. May give you just a little bit of an opportunity to make up those positions you otherwise wouldn't have.
Yeah, I'd say you're right. That's probably your only real chance at actually being able to contend, is hoping that the big one happens in front of you and you're able to dodge it. Tate Lytle has officially called it a night, and that is not a surprise with how annihilated that 56 car was.
Yeah, rough end of the night for Lytle. You know, just not anywhere to go for him on that one, and man, just a rough end to the night for him.
Absolutely, but of course there's still plenty of opportunity for Lake Norman. You especially have your eyes transfixed on that purple number 40. Tyler Fody looking to add yet another Daytona win to that long resume. But he's got another man with a long resume in front of him with Jonathan Cutlip, who he's trying to add to. You see the pace car getting ready to make the hard left-hand turn on the pit road. Jonathan Cutlip will lead us back to the restart zone. Green means go. We're back underway at Daytona. 7 laps to go from the World Center of Racing. Had a huge jump from Cutlip and Tyler Fody with him, but a little bit of a gap, and Ty McIntosh is trying to fill it, and he will. And that is bad news for those on the inside. It's going to take him a minute trying to get the energy built back up.
Adams is going to fall back to the front of Rucker, and right now that inside line trying to gather momentum as the outside line has all of it, and already a car starting to look 3 wide.
Yeah, and keep an eye on that 91 car. Wait for Westergreen to make the jump down, and wait for McIntosh to follow him there. The South Shore duo trying to see if they can pull off the win, but right now it is Cutlip being pushed by Tyler Fody. 6 to go at the line.
6 to go at the line. Right now, all the momentum with the high side, all of the line with the high side. But you wonder, how long are these cars behind them going to wait to make a move?
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen any moves being made. You want to be the first one to make that move. You don't want to have them go right by and going, I should have made that move. Whoa, as we see, Chin, big sideways from the push from his teammate. He's going to hold on to it, and here comes Noah Brown, dropping down in front of the 93. Here they come. Here comes the middle lane.
A window open at Daytona, and everybody wants it.
Look at the move from Fuller. The elevator move, top to the bottom, takes the lead of the middle lane. 5 to go.
5 to go, 3 wide right now. It's that bottom lane trying to put together some momentum, as now it looks like the 55 of Fuller will get moved to the middle.
And it's starting to fall apart, and that worked out great for the South Shore cars. They are now lined up nose to tail, 3rd and 4th on the outside lane. When do they make their move? Cutlip and Fody are working together, but they're not teammates. You wonder who's going to be the first one to bail in that partnership, but here comes Eidson, and he's got help. He's got Fuller behind.
Eidson says, I'm not waiting, I want the lead. He's dropped down in front of Fuller. Now we'll drop down to the inside. His chin gets to the sideways. One car hit.
Having to save it down.
Cracked in the triangle.
Fuller, Chin, Burgess. Oh, look at that. That has wiped out half the field.
Eidson is involved in it. Adams is involved in it. It is a huge crash here at Daytona. Fody is caught up in it. Oh, what a huge wreck, and what a crazy. Casey Hatch, practically homemade meatball flag for him. Caution is out. It's the 8th caution of the night, and that involved a lot of our front runners.
Looking like a pasta dish with how many practically homemade meatballs are being given out on this one. So you're going to see what initially started it, Noah Brown, but then you see right there in the corner of the screen, it looks like some contact between Chin and Fuller that put Fuller down into Trey Eidson, and all hell breaks loose from there.
And this tri-oval looks wide, but it narrows up quickly when there's a crash. Yeah, like you said, it's going to be a shot from Chin that's going to turn Fuller sideways as Fuller jumps up in front of Chin. Maybe didn't know about the, how much momentum Chin had, or they may have just been mismatched on this push, but it's going to push Fuller sideways. He gets down into Eidson, and it is on from there. Oh, rough hit. Never saw it coming. And then everybody behind just trying to dodge, trying to get out of the way. Rucker involved in it. He was one of the cars that was up there battling for the lead. Frankenfield caught up in it. Fody caught up in it. I mean, there's got to be a dozen or more cars caught up in this crash.
Yeah, that is a huge accident. It is going to be easier to say who who survived and who didn't at this point.
Right, and there you see Evans coming to almost a complete stop behind that crash as he was just going to squeeze through it and just about got clipped by Chin as he goes past.
Yeah, that cost him the lucky dog, but I think they're still going to give it to him since it was an incident from well after.
Yeah, and a great call on that. Man, just so many of these cars. Fuller, you see, got another big hit towards the end of that crash. Just one of those things, and especially when you have banking like this, it's just one of those things where it's going to self-clean, and once that track blocks up, you're just along for the ride, hitting your brakes and hoping you don't pile in too hard.
Yeah. That's going to put Zach Evans to, I believe, just 3 laps down now.
And you see there is not much left of this lead pack. It is going to be interesting to see as we are going to go into overtime.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Oh, this is gonna be absolutely crazy here, Drew.
It is. It is going to be green, white, checkered. They will see the green flag first, then they will get the white flag if there's not a caution, and then they will get the checkered flag, and we will see who comes out of the chaos on the other side.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what these two do, and the two behind. Again, Western Green and McIntosh, they are teammates. But there's only so much they're going to be able to do since they are both going to be starting next to each other on this second row.
They are, and that's when the question becomes, do you push the car in front of you, or do you try to make something happen and get in front of each other? And there's a lot of cars behind them that are going to want to try to get into this. As we see, look at this, the 7th place car of Rucker was caught up in that crash. Frankenfield as well was in that, as well as White and Stock. So you may not have a lot of cars that are undamaged coming to this green-white checkered.
Yeah, but at this rate, we could very well see a damaged car bring home the win here. Crazier things have happened.
I believe it was here a couple of years ago at the Clash that Eric Jones brought one that was ready for the dumpster to the victory lane.
Yep, one of my favorite Mike Joy calls. And it remains to be seen if I'll be recreating it tonight. To reset the top 10 here, it is Cutlip and Fody with McIntosh, Westergreen, and Campbell. Thompson, Gardner, Rucker, Frankenfield, White, and Nigel Stock. Nigel Stock being up here, that is incredible for him. He's been involved in a lot.
He has been a pinball tonight through no fault of his own, but he is holding that car together, and he has got a chance. If you are in this top 10, I'm going to say you have a chance at the end of this race.
Absolutely. If you're on track and on the lead lap, you have a chance at this. Here we go. The last opportunity to take a deep breath. The biggest trophy of the series on the line with just 2 to go. As we see the pace car getting ready to make that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. Jonathan Cutlip will lead us back to the restart zone. Green means go. We're back underway. 2 laps to go at Daytona. A horrible jump for Tyler Fody, and that's going to allow McIntosh and Jonathan Cutlip to clear up to the lead.
It is a huge push for McIntosh up into the banking of turn number 1. Him and Cutlip have a gap over Fody, but Fody is getting his momentum together as he's going to get help from the 91.
Yeah, we'll wait for David Westergreen. We know Dave likes to be aggressive at the end of these races. Wait for him to make the move and wait for McIntosh to follow. But right now it is nose to tail on the outside lane. No one on the inside.
They're going to, everybody getting in position. They all want to be ready to make this move when it starts. And it is going to be, you're going to have to make that decision soon because we're coming to the white flag.
1 lap to go, and here comes Thompson Gardner. He's the first one to pull out. Who joins him? Does anyone join him? He's getting pushed by Frankenfield. Fody looking, he's thinking, but it is still single file up here for the first 3 as the energy's starting to fall apart just ever so slightly on the inside. No one moving an inch right now. Here comes Rucker looking. Oh, meanwhile, we got a hard hit for Kyle Hanshaw in the back. Here comes, oh no, Westergreen gets turned from Rucker.
Westergreen is going to go around. We've got cars bouncing off each other, sliding, slamming, as here comes McIntosh for the lead off of turn 4.
Sideways, trying to get the push from Tyler Fody. He's getting the push, and it's out at the line. McIntosh wins at Daytona.
What a move to win the race from Ty McIntosh. He's going to slip by Cutlip, and Fody is going to slip by as well. What a win for Ty McIntosh.
Thou Short getting it done. How about it?
And we've been talking about him all night. He had that great dodge of a wreck earlier, and we said you got to keep it alive to be there at the end for the win, and he got the job done.
Ty Mater with the dub. With technically a car pit for the scrap heap.
And you see getting a lot of congratulations from his competitors. What a finish. What a way to start off this season. I mean, you cannot ask for a better Daytona finish than that.
Absolutely. ERN calling, getting it done.
And now gonna burn it down in the infield. Burn it down, celebrate it. There is no place like winning at Daytona.
Absolutely not. And Ray Bracey and D West celebrate with him.
I love when you can bring your teammates in on the celebration. You know, you can't get it done without teammates at Daytona. And just what a job by everybody tonight. And McIntosh waited until the perfect moment, set that move up perfectly, and took it to the win.
All right, we're going to let Ty continue to burn it down.
Getting the teammates into it, doing that nose-to-nose burnout. We saw the Penske cars do that a few years ago in the post-season celebration. It's a pretty cool thing to be able to do. And then the backwards burnout.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take our final break of the night. And then we'll be back to talk to our top 3. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Bubba Myers Custom Designs. In the world of iRacing, your paint scheme is your identity, and no one helps you build that identity better than Bubba Myers. Specializing in high-quality paint schemes, they offer everything from highly detailed individual liveries to cohesive team paints that make a statement on the track. Advanced spec mat work your car will feature realistic textures and finishes that look phenomenal on the broadcast. Plus, with their custom paint reveals, your team's debut will be an absolute spectacle. When you want professional grade designs for the virtual track, look no further than Bubba Meyer's Custom Designs. Check them out on X and Discord. Bubba Meyer's Custom Designs are built for the podium.
Tickets are on sale now for the 5th Enjoy Illinois 300 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. September 11th through 13th brings a full weekend of action with the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and St. Louis's biggest music festival, Confluence. The stars shine on and off the track, and your ticket gets you everything: cars, concerts, camping, food, and fun. Don't miss it. Get your tickets now and save big at WWTRaceway.com.
If you've been waiting for the right time to upgrade, that time is now. Score up to $4,000 off on a 26 brand new Ford Explorer. And our Ford Explorers come with the Bolin Lifetime Powertrain Warranty. So get to Tom Bolin Ford in Hannibal. Heck of a deal, ain't it?
Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand towards victory lane. So don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
Alrighty, we are back and gonna go through the final finishing results of the season opener at Daytona. Ty McIntosh, your winner from Tyler Fode and Jonathan Cutlip. William White and Andrew Recker round out the top 5. Ray Bracey, Curtis Cochran, Dustin Dorr, Joe Campbell, and Noah Brown round out the top 10. Connor Thompson Gardner, Chad Frankenfield, Nigel Stock, JP Phillips, and Harrison Talon. Trey Eidson, Justin Fuller, Brandon Wilkinson, Seth Rawls, and David Westergreen. Joshua Chin, Bryce Fode, Josh Adams round out those on the lead lap. Kyle Hanshaw and Zach Evans, top 25. Paul Mikolajczyk, Casey Hatch, Tate Lytle, Gavin Higgins, and Ryan Borges, top 30. Austin Anamnit, Matthew Weeks, Corey Abbott, Scott Eckridge, Randy Yoakum, Caleb Pacumer, Tommy Ryan, Jacob Adams, Jeff Green, Jay Connor, Chad Turnquist, and Michael Hosick rounding out the field. And with that, we're going to go ahead and start to talk to our top 3. John, James in the booth, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
It was a heck of a run there for you at the end. You controlled a lot of that race, but ultimately just didn't have the help there coming to the checkered.
Yeah, I felt like we pretty much accomplished our strategy of just trying to stay towards the front for a majority of the race, just to stay out of the chaos. My qualifying was decent, and just tried to get to the front as quick as I could. I was able to accomplish that and just stayed at the front. I was, working with a few different guys, and overall it was a pretty fun night. I enjoyed this package a lot. You can pretty much make your own destiny as far as making some moves and just getting able to, side by side and race people and just like pull different lines and stuff like that.
Yeah, it seemed like it. This package was very racy, and there was some single file, but you guys weren't single file for very long.
Yeah, majority of the single file was just either the second car would push the leader and it would just string the field out depending on how fast they were or how hard they were pushing, or just a fuel saving situation, which it happened a couple of different times tonight. At least it's a little bit of a break from the chaos, but yeah, I enjoy race packages like this just because you're pretty much going to your own desire as far as if you want to fuel save or just ride around the back or try to get to the front, you can pretty much do what you choose to.
Yeah, and it's still a great start to the season for you. Able to get some pretty good points at a track where you never know if you're gonna actually be able to score any.
Oh yeah, for sure. Plate tracks are always one of those tracks where one wrong bump and the entire field wads it up. Luckily we weren't involved in anything too crazy tonight. Racing was getting a little crazy there at the end, but it wasn't anything too bad. Luckily to come away with 2 points position for the stages and finishing third. So it's definitely a good night. Definitely would have loved to win, but coming away with a P3 is still pretty good.
Absolutely. Awesome run for you tonight. Any sponsors, plugs, and shout outs you'd like to give before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out to you guys, Dave, Carlos, and James. I see Drew over there. I can't wait to watch this back later. I feel like the racing was fun to watch this evening. It was fun in the seat. Shout out to my teammates over at 199. Paul, unfortunately, Gavin didn't make it. Shout out to Josh Chen. He was working with us tonight. He made a great strategy call. Unfortunately, he got caught up in a wreck late, but shout out to those guys. Always fun to hang around. Shout out to the friend group. It's always enjoyable to stream for them, and we can just hang out on a race evening. Race CPI, of course. They've been in my car for a couple years now, and I feel like I've grown a lot as a driver, and it's a huge thanks to them. Shout out to my mom. She watches every race. I know she doesn't like watching play tracks, but hopefully she enjoyed this one. We didn't crash, so we weren't driving backwards tonight. But shout out to Ty. He made a perfect move there at the end. That was cool to see. Ty's a super cool dude. He deserved that one. And yeah, I think I covered all the bases.
All right. Well, we appreciate you, John. Hopefully, we're talking to you again here next week.
Yep, hopefully, we can get a checkered flag.
All right. There's your third place finisher of Jonathan Cutlip, and Drew's going to talk to our runner up.
Tyler, Drew up here in the booth. You got me?
I do.
What a race. What a finish. You push Ty McIntosh to the win. How did your race go from your perspective?
Pretty good and straightforward up until the end. I would have liked a little different result for myself, but yeah, happy to push Ty though to the end there. He that was his first win here in the Grand National Series, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, just kept it tried to keep it track position and near the front all night to stay out of the trouble, and it worked out. And yeah, I had a shot there at the end.
You had a real strong car all night. We saw you up at the front most of the night. Was that your plan, is just to stay up front, stay out of the mess? We saw quite a few crashes in the back.
Yeah, this package is kind of tough too if you get back there to try and make spots back up. So I was just trying to stay ahead of all that. And yeah, I was working well with a few of those guys, John and Tate. Yeah, I thought the plan on the final restart was John taking the bottom was going to kind of jump early, come up in front of me, and we'd settle it out. But Ty got a heck of a launch with him. They both got clear, but so that was a little bit outside of what I was planning for. But yeah, just to be right there at the end anyways and have a shot and then push Ty, we'll take it.
Do you think you would have had maybe a little bit more of a shot if so many cars hadn't been taken out? I know that we didn't really have a lot of the faster cars there right at the end.
Yeah, it was a little different just because there were some new names there right at the end. But I mean, I was happy with having Ty and Westergreen behind me. Those are both affiliates to our team anyways. We're good friends with those guys. So I knew we essentially had 3-on-1 against John. So I was kind of just waiting to see what they would do. And they're both really good plate racers. I mean, David and Ty both, even John. So it was still plenty of talent up front to deal with at the end there. and I kind of saw David making the move and was going to go with him, and then he got turned with Rucker. So at that point, it was just kind of waiting to see what Ty wanted to do, being the third car there, and he finally went, and then we just went with him.
Great job tonight. What a way to start off of your season. Do you have any shout-outs? Anybody you want to shout out and give thanks to?
Yeah, just all the Lake Norman guys that made it tonight, between Tate and Austin, Caleb, and my brother out there. Just part-time for me. I'm just going to be doing the super speedways in this thing. Same with Bryce, but Tate and Caleb and Austin will be making a full-time effort. So shout out to those guys. Hope to see a lot of success with them. And then also shout out to Ray Bracey with the Bojo Designs paint schemes. He did our whole team, so always love getting stuff with him. And yeah, shout out to you guys up here doing the commentary and the race control, cameras, all that stuff. So really appreciate it. And hopefully, I guess Daytona or Dega, whatever's next, next Super Speedway, we'll be back up here talking to y'all.
Hope to see you then. Congratulations again, and have a great night.
Yeah, you too. Appreciate it.
All righty, there is our runner-up, Tyler Fody. And now, time to talk to the man of the hour, Ty Mater. James in the booth. Yeah, got a copy.
Yes, sir.
How about it? What a job. First of all, take us through what was going through your mind on that final lap.
Yeah, just, I think a lot of it was kind of looking in the mirror. I was committed to John if I couldn't do anything. And just, I was content with second. I feel like the way that my luck has gone across everything the last couple seasons, like truck was the only thing that really went well for me last year. So I was okay with second. And then David tried to make a move behind me, and I don't know what happened there. And then it was kind of just me, Fody, and John. And I knew that by the time I got to 3, Fody would have to pick one of us. So I just kind of hoped that he was going to pick me, and we made the move on John, and just got there, man. It's insane. I was really surprised that he wanted to work with me on that last restart. We worked on just timing it right, and I thought I messed it up at first, but we got clear both Fody and David, and we just kind of rode there. So that was absolutely awesome.
What a great job. A wild night. You had one of the best wreck avoidances we have ever seen, and carry it through to your first Grand National win. How does that feel?
I mean, it makes me feel like the cards were in the favor, right? I mean, I think I don't even remember that wreck happening. I think just because everything that was in the last 20 laps feels different to me than the first 100, but yeah, no, I mean, I think that just puts it even more in perspective that Ty Mater was meant to do something tonight, man. We ran this scheme once in another league, and we went to victory lane with it. So I told Ray, I was like, we kind of have to do it again. Like, I feel like if we don't do it again, we're not doing it justice. So we brought it back, and we increased the win ratio with it. So we'll take it.
Yeah, and it's a great start for the team too. It's a back-to-back seasons where South Shore is able to bring home a season-opening win at Daytona.
Yeah, we were Fody and I were talking about that because he also jokingly brought up that he pushed Ray to the win in trucks last season, and he did it for me tonight. So just I can't thank him enough, man. He's the sole reason. He could have went 3 if John came down. I don't even know if John came down enough. I didn't even look at the finish yet. I'm still sitting in the car in the sim. So yeah, I couldn't have been here without him. I could have been here without the whole team. David, Ray, Zach. Zach had internet issues. Curtis was up there. Curtis got a top 10. I just now got to see that. That's insane. Just a lot of guys came together and got us in victory lane, man. I wouldn't be here without them, especially not Ray for painting this car, David for having me on the team. Just so many people to thank tonight.
Absolutely awesome run for you tonight, and it's a nice little feather in your cap before having to be the broadcaster once again for tomorrow's ARCA race here tomorrow.
Yeah, dude, it's kind of insane. I kind of completely forgot that was a thing that I'm doing. I'm not going to lie to you. It's just this week has been so heavy with, the cup stuff and then trucks last night. I'm excited to go do that. Don't get me wrong. I look forward to it every week, and just being able to call those races with Cam, especially. Cam's a great partner to have. have doing that, and just kind of makes you appreciate everything a little bit more. Like I hope we gave you guys a good show tonight. I'm sure we did, especially at the finish. But I'm sure for a little bit there it was rough, but we pulled through.
Absolutely, and we appreciate you, Ty, and hopefully we're talking to you again here next week.
I hope so. I as much as I hope so, I doubt it. I'm not going to get my hopes up, but either way, if this is the only time you talk to me this season, hell of a way to do it. I'll take it.
Absolutely. There is your race winner, Ty McIntosh. Well, how about it, Drew? This was basically exactly what we were expecting and hoping for here.
It was, these Daytona races, they're always wild. They're always, they're the wild card of the start of the season. And it sure was. We saw a lot of action tonight. We saw a lot of wrecks. And we see a first-time winner in Ty McIntosh making the last lap pass. They don't ask you how you led the laps at Daytona or how many you led, as long as you lead the most important one.
Absolutely. But with that, it's time for us to get the heck on out of here. For my broadcast partners, Drue Bernardi and Dave Huckleberry, I'm James Watson, bidding you adieu. Till next time. Good night, everyone.